Hi everyone, I'm Laura. I'm the owner of Cherubs Chalks Interiors. I'm over in the UK and I'm a content creator for Dixie Belle. I'm here today to show you the next step of the chest of drawers that I started with you the other day. The other day we applied the base coat. I previously had put on a couple of coats of Boss to stop any staining coming through because this is a pine chest of drawers. So then we went over with some mint julep, which was mixed with some sea spray, and that's created a lot of lovely texture. And today I'm coming on to show you, as I am about to apply the next layers, I'm using lots of different pinks and I'm going to apply them with a sponge just to create some sort of depth. As I say, I'm using a lot of different, I'm using lots of pinks. They're all sort of similar pinks and similar shades, so they will be, it's a subtle look I'm going for with this one. You can use sort of contrasting colours if you want, but obviously I've got the green that will be coming through underneath. So I'll show you, I've just done the top, well I've been sort of working on the top and I'm going to show you the rest of it, but I've used the different colours to create this sort of textured, sort of blended in areas, and then I've sanded back and distressed to see, I don't know if you can really see, can you see the green underneath? Slightly, and then I have put on one of the transfers because I got a bit too excited and wanted to get it started, but I'm just trying to show you a close-up. Can you see the greens coming through where I've distressed? Because obviously the sea spray has added the texture. So it's just a completely different look. It's quite fun, rather than one plain finish. I'm just going with something a bit different. So let me show you the colours. So what I'm doing is I've got some tea rose and I've just decanted that onto a little disposable tray, and I'm just going to brush that. Let me move it. I'll start with this side. So I just want sort of a thin layer just to cover the green. I mean, obviously, as I say, we'll be distressing back and you will see some of the green, but I just want to get sort of a solid base over this green with some pink. So I've got my tea rose. I'm just lightly misting just so that it's, like I say, I only want sort of a thin layer. I don't want it to go on too thickly. So say hi if you're watching. Tell me where you're watching from. Like I say, I'm in the UK. It's about 22:01 here. I've just had my lunch. So I've refueled and I'm ready to carry on with this. So I'm just simply putting on quite a thin layer of tea rose. As I said before, this is all about texture, this piece, so I'm just kind of slapping it on. And I need some more tea rose in there. But yeah, obviously the sort of base coat is really textured and I just want to continue with that. So kind of cross-hatching, just making sure that I get in to all those bits of texture that I created. And yeah, I'm really excited because I'm using the Boho Soul transfer, which I've loved since I saw it, but I hadn't gotten around to using it yet. So this is my first piece with that transfer, and the colours are just beautiful. Hi, I can see that quite a few of you are jumping on now. Say hi and tell me what you're working on if you've got any projects on the go. I've got about 4 on the go at the moment. This being my most exciting one, I think. I've got a few other pieces. I've got a few I've got plain desk over there that I need to carry on working on this afternoon, but because this one is so fun, I couldn't wait to get on with it. Just spraying it a little bit more, just to, as I say, moisten it up a little bit so that the paint doesn't go on too thickly. These sprayers from Dixie Belle are amazing. If you haven't got one, then you definitely should when you're working with the chalk mineral paint range. You don't need it with the silk paint, but with the chalk paint, it's excellent. just sort of covering all of that green, so I've got a good solid pink base. And then I'm not going to wait for this to dry, I'm just going to start going straight over it once it's all on. Just because it's still wet, it'll blend in and stuff. I mean, you could wait for it to dry, but I think it works well whilst it's still damp, so when I'm putting on the next layers, it all blends in nicely. And so, there we go, that's that coat on. And I work in sections, so obviously, as you can see, I've still got the drawers to do, but I'm going to work on this section whilst this is still wet. Just a bit there. And then I'll work my way around. So I did the top bit first, and I've done the other side, now on this side, and then I'll go on to the front. So next, as I say, I've got an array of different pinks. I've got apricot, which is a lovely like sort of peachy pink, really pretty. I haven't got much of this left, but I've got some pink champagne, which is a sort of whitish pink. So that's the lighter colour, and then I've got the soft pink. Now I'm sort of using the soft pink as the main colour, and then the other colours are just sort of accenting that. And then obviously over the top of this, once this is all dry, I'm going to be carrying on, which way are we? There we go, with the boho Soul Transfer, which, as I say, is gorgeous. I think I'm going to put this, if you can see this black and white bit is going to sort of go in the centre at the top, and then I've got all of the other little arrows and feathers and things, and the dream catcher. I'm just going to sort of position that around. I'll see as I go where I put them, but they're really lovely. And as I say, I've sort of pulled out some of the colours from this. There's all sort of the mint julep is in there. You see the greens, and then there's lots of pinks. And so let me show you the next step. So I've got some gator hide sponges. These are a bit of a mess because I've been doing the other side, but I've got these gator hide sponges, which are brilliant. And then I've also got a sea sponge, which I think I got from eBay, cheap. But that just adds a slightly different texture, because you can see it's got the different sort of spongy holes and things. So I've got my little plates. I've put some apricot, some soft pink and that. And then I've got some racks. Now I use these because I don't want to get too much paint onto the sponges. So what I do is I dip the sponge, which one's this? This is my pink champagne. And also I'm just going to dampen it a little bit. Again, just so that it's not too thick. And then I'll just dip it into my paint. And then like I said, I don't want too much on there, so I'm just going to sort of dab off the excess. Move out of the way so you can see what I'm up to. And then just pretty much dabbing it on. So just sort of get it, and it's quite random. You're going to get different areas with different colours, and like I say, I'm using sort of quite similar colours for this, so it's not going to be a massive, you're not going to see the massive differences. It's quite subtle, but like I say, you could sort of do it with more contrasting colours, and then you'll see the difference a lot more. So as I say, it kind of looks a bit, well, it looks really rather messy as we're starting off, but that's always the way, isn't it? You sort of, it comes together as you go further on with the project. I don't know if anyone's talking to me, I can't quite see. I can see lots of you watching. Thanks for joining me again. It's I did a live the other day when I was putting the base coat on. That was my first live on this page, and it just kept going wrong, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to work out better today. See, just adding that water is just sort of giving it a little bit, it's just easier to sort of work with. I don't want it to be too blotchy. And then obviously, as you can see, there's the sort of marks from the sponge, but you can sort of go around and soften up those marks, but then we are going to be going over it with some other colours, so that will all blend in as we go. It's just like I say, it's just a fun effect, it's just a bit different. I've done this with a few different, I did it with a blue, lots of different blues, and I did that on a big sideboard, and I paired that with some gold. I used the gemstone mousse and the golden gem to highlight the details against the blue. That was really nice. I've done it with some different greens on a vintage chest of drawers that was sort of military inspired. And I thought, being as pink is one of my favourite colours, that I will start doing one in pink, but with the lovely green coming through underneath. I just really like it. I've got a desk, another desk that I'm going to be working on. I think I'm going to do something similar. I'm not quite sure what colours I might do more contrasting colours on that one. So if you want to see some of my other projects, then go and follow me at Cherubs Chalks Interiors on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all over the place. I've got a YouTube channel which I've just started. I'll be uploading these sort of videos onto there, so you'll get lots of tutorials if anyone's interested. So I know for you Americans it'll be quite early, won't it? It's almost 1 o'clock here and you're about 5 or 6 hours behind, depending on your location, I guess. Okay, as I say, if there's any parts that are a little bit you're not quite too happy with, just give it a light spray and then just soften it up a little bit. The bits down here. Sponge doesn't sort of get, I don't know if you can see, can you? Probably not. The sponge doesn't quite get into all the areas, so I've got my round small Dixie Belle brush and I'll just dab that in. But again, like I say, you never want too much paint on, so then I'll just dab it off on the rag that I've got, and then I'll just get into the sort of base where I can't quite get into with the sponge and all these little grooves and things. There we go. As I say, it's all quite random. It's all, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's all part of it. It's just a bit crazy. Put you back there. I don't want to chop my head off. I'm good at that. Okay, so that's that bit on, and now I'm going to go on with my sponge, my sea sponge, with the apricot. So this is a colour I haven't used very often. I don't know why, because it's lovely. One of my friends did a sideboard using this and it just looked amazing, so it's definitely a colour I need to use more. So again, so this is the sea sponge. As you can see, it's got lots of different bubbles and things in it, and I'm just going to very lightly dip it in, and then again get my rag and just dab it on there just to take all the excess off, and then again just see, this gives a different texture. I don't know if you can really see, because it's so sort of small and delicate, you probably don't get the best view from there. But that's all that it is. It's supposed to be just little bits and bobs of different colours peeking through. As I say, you can get these on Amazon, eBay, all the places. Just type in sea sponge. I need to get some more actually, because I use this quite a lot. I've only got one. So just putting on the apricot. I think what I like so much about this is that it's completely unique. No one that you do will look exactly the same. What do you think, guys? I don't think anybody's talking to me, are they? If you do put any comments on and I do miss them, then I'll come back later on and reply. So if you've got any questions, just shout. But yeah, this is a messy job, but it's fun. Okay. Because this is a bigger sponge, I'll get on there quicker and easier. So that's the apricot, and then finishing off with the soft pink, because this is, as I say, the sort of colour I want to be the most visible. So in a right mess. I've got stuff everywhere. Paint all over me, which is just the norm. Wherever I go, I'm normally covered in something or other. Right, either sanding dust or paint or glitter. Always nice and sparkly. Oh, I'm also going to be adding on, once I've finished all of this, I think I'm going to put the pearlescent glaze on, just give it a bit of a sparkle. And then I'm going to be using the chameleon waxes, probably in all three colours, because there's like the lilac-y colour, what's the other one called? There's cactus, which is the green, which will obviously blend in with the green that I'm using. And then there's is that one apricot as well? The pink colour, can't think of its name. But I'm going to use those on here, and it's going to really bring out all the different colours from the transfer and everything. I think it's going to look lovely. So yeah, like I say, I might do sort of a desk with this kind of technique, but use some bolder colours so you can see the contrast a bit better. And obviously once this is all dry, I'm going to distress it like I have done with the top, so that it brings out the green from underneath. And it will smooth it down a little bit, because obviously it's got a lot of texture at the moment. It will still, the top's still got some texture, but it's smoothed down a lot because I've sanded it with, I don't know where they are now, with my 220 Dixie Belle Grip sanding pads, just to smooth it down, distress it, show some of the colours from underneath all popping through, so you've got like just a lot of depth and a lot of difference. So I'm excited to get this one done. Right, where's my pink? Also getting the right mess. I think it's starting to dry a little bit, so I'll just add a little bit of water. It's because I'm chatting, I'm taking too long. When I'm not chatting, I can actually get on and focus on it, but trying to multitask, it's not my best trait. Really cold today as well. It's really sunny outside. I don't know what the weather's like wherever you guys are, but I'm quite chilly sat in here. I did have my heaters on, but I can't actually treat myself some warmth. And then it will help the paint dry faster as well, which, I mean, it's not, I don't always want it to dry very fast, and Dixie Belle's great for that because it's got a long open time. But I'm excited for it to dry so that I can finish it off and so get the transfers on and get that chameleon wax on. And obviously once I've applied the transfers, before I do any of the glazing and the waxing, I will seal it all, possibly with the flat top coat, just to protect it all. The transfers all need sealing in to protect them and have them long lasting on your furniture. Right, so now I'm looking at it because I've kind of gone over everywhere with the soft pink. Obviously I've covered up some of the other layers, so at this stage I'll just get my other sponges, dip them back in. This is my pink champagne, not got much left of that. And then just, I don't want it to be thick, I just want a little bit here and there just to change the tones. So it's all just about playing with it really, and doing it until you're happy that you've got sort of coverage of each colour. Not on there. It's not good. There we go. Yeah, getting it just as you like it, just how you like it to look. So it can look completely different. It's just to your own personal preference. I'm just kind of blending that in a little bit so that you can't see the obvious rings. You've just got to trust the process because it does look pretty crazy right now, but as it comes along it will all make sense, I hope. a little bit more of the soft pink as there. And then I'll just let it dry. You can always come and do another coat if necessary. I don't think it's going to be here because I've covered the green, and I don't want to put too much on because I want to be able to get through to that green when I distress. And again, there's just some little bits that I couldn't quite get into with the sponge, so I've got my brush. I'm just going to dab that again, just dab the excess paint off because I don't want too much on there. And just get into all those little details, the base where I couldn't quite get to. How's that looking? Can you see? Obviously it's all wet as well at the moment, so it all looks a bit patchy, but when it dries, it should look quite nice, just like the top. So there we go, that's that. I'll just get in here. I'm going to do the front now as well, and then I will leave it all to dry, probably overnight, and come back to it tomorrow. I'll distress, I probably might distress later on today, but then tomorrow it'll be ready for me to continue putting the transfers on, so maybe I'll pop back on and show you that because I'm really excited for these ones. So pretty. Okie dokie. Well, thanks for joining me, guys, and I'll be back soon. See ya!